Chris Farfoy.
Mr Chair, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to Part 1 of the Television New Zealand Amendment Bill. The institution that we're talking about here is very dear to my heart because I spent the majority of my journalism career at Television New Zealand. But I'm very concerned about what this bill and the functions and the purpose of this bill will do to that public broadcaster. Mr Chair, there are a lot of mostly loyal, mostly very experienced and very talented staff working at Television New Zealand who output some of the best public broadcasting in the world. It's one of the best, and if you travel around the world and have a look at some of the examples of public broadcasting around the world, you'll notice that some of New Zealand's television, born and bred right here in New Zealand, is some of the best. Television New Zealand takes great pride in the quality and the production values of what it puts on air. And its programming, as I said, is world class. I myself worked in a news organisation for nearly 10 years. And if you travel around the world, you'll know that if you go to any major newsroom around the world, there'll be someone from Television New Zealand in a very senior position. And why is that? It's because of the public broadcasting remit that Television New Zealand has had for years and years and years. Any major international broadcaster will have a Television New Zealand person working in their newsroom calling the shots because they are experienced, they care about quality journalism, they care about the quality of the output that they're putting out, not just the journalism but also the production values, and they have standards and skills that are among some of the best in the world.
TVNZ has been dumbed down, is it?
Some of the best in the world. And those standards and skills have come about from a long tradition of quality public broadcasting. But this TVNZ bill amendment puts all of that at risk. It puts all of that long history at risk. Yes, it does, and I can speak from experience. It puts all of that at risk. Because the standards of journalism that the New Zealand public have come to expect over decades, will be gone in an instant. Because what are you going to have? You say how. What is going to happen now? When people tune in to TVNZ News at 6 o'clock, they'll be tuning in, and the most important thing about that hour for TVNZ is not going to be the news coverage, it's going to be the ads in between. Because there will be a commercial imperative around the news. We're going to get a dumbing down of the news quality and the news content, because the only thing that Television New Zealand will care about is making money. The only thing that TVNZ will be worried about will be making money. And, you know, it's in black and white right here in the purpose of the Act. The purpose of the Act provide for the functions of TVNZ, the Crown entity responsible for conducting a television and digital media business, and ensure that TVNZ carries out its functions and maintains its commercial performance. Well, commercial performance. That's all this is about. You know, and Sam, my very good friend, Peseta Sam Laturinga, said, Chris, if you're still working there, you get paid more. Well, it's not all about the money, Sam. It's not all about the money. And while we're at it, it's not all about commercialism. It's also about the regional part that Television New Zealand plays in the Pacific. Because and Sam Laturinga would know very well that Television New Zealand News, the 6 o'clock news, is a big rater in Samoa. Television New Zealand News plays a very important function in making sure that journalists are trained in around the Pacific Rim, and all of that will be gone because that doesn't make us any money, does it? That doesn't make us any money, so let's stop doing it. The quality of journalism around the Pacific would fall, and I think that as a Pacific Island member of this Parliament, he should be very worried about that. This bill changes Television New Zealand from a public broadcaster to a commercial broadcaster. It's pure and simple. So it's all of a sudden, it's about the money. And the substance of the stories starts to suffer. And I can speak from experience because investigative journalism takes time, it takes experience, and it takes research. And investigative journalism in New Zealand is very important. As the Honourable Rodney Hyde will know, it's very important to make sure that you can dig to the bottom of issues, especially around this sphere, digging to the bottom of issues, and it exposes issues of national significance. But that'll be gone too, because that doesn't make money. That costs money. It doesn't make money. So the commercial imperative will come over the top, and all of a sudden, investigative journalism at Television New Zealand will be gone. And under this regime, news coverage will more be about, as I said, will be more about the ads in between the stories, which will decrease in quality. Oh, so you don't like the quality of TVNZ News now, Georgina Tehuhu. So Georgina Tehuhu would rather watch the ads. Mr. Chair?
Paul Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. I move that the question be now put.
Yeah, the question is...